Hello, everyone. Welcome to Speak Up Sis Talk Radio. I'm your host, inspirational conversationalist, and author, Angel Charmaine. And this is the place where Christian authors have an opportunity to share their testimonies through their written work to inspire you to open up your mouth and share the word of your testimony. Today, we've got a guest who is not new to Speak Up Sis Talk Radio. She's been here before, but today we're going to talk about something slightly differently. So I'd like for you all to help me welcome author Erica Warren back to Speak Up Sis Talk Radio. How you doing, sis?
I'm doing good and happy to be back in the Speak Up Sis space. Thank you for having me again.
Most definitely. You know, I always like talking to you because we have some good conversations.
Yeah. On and off camera.
On and off camera. I know you all wish that you could be a fly on the wall to hear some of the things that we talk about off camera. But I bless God for the divine connection, the sisterhood, the friendship, just all that good stuff. So thank you for saying yes to joining me again on Speak Up Sis Talk Radio. I appreciate you.
You are so welcome. Thank you for inviting me again.
Yes. So now we have Speak Up Sis Bookshelf, and you decided to list In Spite of It All on Speak Up Sis Bookshelf. And today we're going to talk about some of the other co-authors who are part of this particular book, because you were the sort of arranger, composer, compiler of all the stories, right?
Yes, ma'am. And so it's a compilation of women's stories, women true life testimonies to inspire other women, to just let them know, whatever you're going through, someone else has gone through it. God carried them through it. They came out better for it, whatever lessons they had to learn. And if you just keep, trusting in him and believing in him and keep moving forward, you'll get on the other side of it as well. A lot of times, especially us as Black women, we sort of feel like we have to put on that armor for the world, right, and paint a picture that, we're guided together and we're strong. And we wanted to break down that barrier. Other women know that you don't have to always pretend like you have it together, and you can lean on other women, for support with whatever you're going through without judgment.
Most definitely. I'm telling you, as a Black woman, it just seems like we carry the weight of the world on our shoulders, even though we know that we're not of this, we're in this world, but not of this world. It just still seems like we've got to carry it all. So it's a good thing to be reminded that that's not our role.
Exactly. You can lean on another sister and just let it go and fall apart sometimes, and it ain't always going to be pretty. Some of those moments are going to be ugly, but they still come out, beautiful in the end.
Exactly. So as the one who arranged the stories in the book, were you also the person who selected the authors?
No, Alandria Lloyd, she was the, the the publisher. And so everyone that came together, through me, but they submitted their chapters to her. So, because she runs a publishing company that's Christian based, faith based, and she doesn't like to put anything out that doesn't align with that. And so all of the stories had to go through her, and be filtered to make sure that they fit in with the theme of the book. And so that's how that came together. And all of the ladies, they had the common theme of, everything they've gone through, they give the glory to God. And that's the message that we wanted to put out with these stories.
Okay. So what was your sort of specific role in putting this together?
Just bringing the women together, putting the message out there, and asking other women, do you have a testimony that you feel you would like to share with the world to inspire other women? Is it something that will, bring other women closer together? And, do you feel like you're strong enough to be able to tell that story? Are you healed enough to
Right.
be able to share that story with the world? And if you are, then we're looking for you. And so, I created the group to get all of the women together to like get to know each other,
Mm-hmm.
share background, share testimonies. And that's the beauty of doing an anthology, is that a lot of times when you hear other women's story, you kind of, you it's like they're telling part of yours, and it's like,
Right.
I'm telling this part of my story, but the story you're telling, I also went through that too. And so that's how you build that camaraderie and that sisterhood. And this is my second anthology, and I've gained many, female friendships from doing that.
Would you recommend to a new writer to possibly start in an anthology if they're trying to figure out whether or not they want to do this whole author thing? Would you recommend starting with an anthology?
Definitely, because before I did the anthology, I always wanted to write a book, but it seemed like it was so overwhelming. And, I was afraid that I wouldn't have, enough material to fill up a whole book. So I thought if I just start out with doing a chapter with some other ladies, and then a lot of other ladies who are also doing this for the first time, we can share this experience together and support each other. And then once I did the first anthology, I realized I have so much more I need to share. I probably do need to do my own book. So once you get that courage and that support and that boost to do that anthology, then it gives you the courage to go ahead and start thinking about doing a solo project.
Right. I would also think that it would help to have so many other people promoting the book as well. So
Hmm.
now it's not just you telling someone, telling everybody about your book, but you've got however many other co-authors there are marketing at the same time and promoting at the same time. So you've got more eyes, more visibility on your work.
Yeah.
Although other people are promoting probably their particular story, but when
Mhm.
people buy the book, they're going to read all the stories, right?
Yes, and that's what happens is the people that I'm promoting to, they might buy my book just simply because they know me.
Mhm.
But then once they really get to reading through all of the other stories, that's when some of those stories might touch them even more than my story. And then that leads them to that other author, and then they start a relationship with them and start following them because that particular story touched them more than mine did. And so that's also a great thing about the anthology. It's like cross promotion, cross networking.
Right. And if a person ever just wanted to tick off a bucket list, like to be a published author,
Hmm.
um, this is a fabulous way to do that because you can write a short story or an essay or a piece for an anthology, even if it's a poetry anthology, because there are anthologies where people contribute poems, right?
Yeah.
Once it is in this published book, you then become a published author. So I think it's an awesome way to be able to sort of tick off that bucket list thing,
Hmm.
if that's your thing, um, and not have to write the entire book yourself, but and still say, hey,
Yeah, and
I'm a
still
published
say, "Hey,
author.
I'm a published author," but it was so much. It felt so good to me to be able to share that experience with the other ladies because we were all so excited together. And a lot of times you feed off of other people's energy. You can be excited about something that you're doing on your own by yourself, but
Mhm.
when you have a group of people doing it together, it just heightens that excitement a little bit more.
Right. I liked seeing all of the group pictures and all those things
Hmm.
as well. It just seems like a large part of what's required to self-publish and to promote and to market it seems, is included in this. So you've got the pictures, the professional pictures that are being taken, and the professional book cover, and all of those things is taken care of, and all you have to do is just write your piece.
Exactly. And yeah, that was the easiest part for me, is like, okay, I've done my chapter. Now I'm waiting on the other ladies to do their chapter. And then once it comes all together, and then you get the excitement of, I want to see the whole thing put together, and I want to be able to go and read the other ladies' stories.
Right. Right. So you said the other ladies' stories. So can you share with us just a little bit? Do you have, I won't say favorites because you compiled it all, and I don't want to put you on the hot seat like that.
Yeah.
Do you have any stories that you remember from reading and compiling that you like to share with us? Because I think what's good for people to know is that you've got sundry stories here. You've got women. How many women? I don't even know exactly. It's like 20, 21. There are a lot. Let's see here. It's something like 24, I believe, women.
Yep, it's 24.
Yeah, so you got 24 women, all with different stories. So even if you don't connect with the first story or the second or the fourth, you're going to connect with one of these stories. And I'm sure more than one of these stories. And that's the beauty of an anthology, right? So do you have any that you can tell us about? What can people expect? What type of stories can people expect to read in spite of it all?
You can expect to read stories. This one was unique and kind of eye-opening to me. We have a story, a woman is experience with eating disorder, and that's something that we don't think a lot about, but it's actually a real issue with women in their self-image, and how we use food to alleviate pain or to numb pain or to give us comfort. But then it starts to weigh on our self-image. So that one was interesting to me. We have a story in here about a woman who, had a stillborn baby. And that's an experience that I never, had personally, but to be able to read her story, I could feel the pain in the words and the story, and not even want to imagine, how that experience felt. We have stories about sexual promiscuity, drug use. We have a woman in the book who tells her story about her mom dying of AIDS, HIV, at a rare early age. She was 12 years old when her mom passed away from HIV, domestic abuse, childhood sexual abuse. So many different stories coming together. It's going to be something in there that's going to touch everybody.
Right. I do remember, I'm not sure.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure if it was the eating disorder, but there's an author who has a different nationality. She was not born and reared in the U.S. She's I can't remember exactly where she's from though. Is that the eating disorder one?
Yes. Yes.
I thought
because she used to watch TV shows from the US and idolize and want to model herself after those women that she saw on the TV. And she realized that, she was always slightly overweight for her age. And that's what got her into the eating disorder, because she wanted to lose weight and look like those girls that she saw on TV.
Right.
So
Erica, I don't usually do this, but it looks like we've got a listening audience.
Okay.
So I'm going to take a question or two, if that's okay with you.
Oh, I love it.
All right. So this is new. So for those of you joining us for this conversation, if you have questions for Erica or myself, then you can most definitely ask them and we will incorporate them into our show. Maybe this will be something that we'll do a little more regularly, but let's see. Hello, Belinda Denise. Belinda Denise says, hello,
Hi,
ladies.
Belinda. Hi, Belinda. How are you?
And Belinda has a question. She says, are there any stories or a story that you have ever connected with, I guess, directly? Is there a story within the book that was your story that you
Um,
didn't write?
Actually, Belinda, yes. And it's weird because the story that I connected with is my sister's story. She's actually in the book with me.
Mm,
And we had similar but different paths in life. And once we connected as adults and started to talk about our life stories and how in events that happened in our life, we noticed that a lot of those things were parallel to each other. We had the same father but different mothers. We didn't learn about each other until we were like 14. We met in person briefly in our 20s, but we didn't really stay in contact with each other. You know, we had our own separate lives and doing our own things. And then when we came back together, specifically during this book project, and then, you know, started to really, really build up our sisterhood and our friendship as sisters, we started learning a lot about each other and our different experiences in life. And so when I read her story in the book, that was my first time actually hearing that particular part of her story. And it kind of mirrored mine. And it was like, and we didn't even really grow up with each other.
wow, that is amazing. So you got two sisters who share. You have the same father. You didn't grow up together, but you're both a part of this anthology, sharing a piece of your own lives, and then you're reading one another's story, going,
Mm,
"Oh my goodness, I dealt with
yeah,
this as well."
yeah. It's real, real scary. So, like I say, when I was reading it, I was getting chills, and then, you know, a lot of the ladies' stories. Once I read them, you know, it just brought me a whole lot of emotions, you know, out because it's weird when you see somebody and you see them, they're smiling, they're beautiful, they're happy with life, you know, they believe in God, they have faith in God, they have an inner peace. But to hear the stories and the things that they went through,
Mm,
to see them that on, you know, today you'd be like, you don't even look like you went through something like that. That's the beauty of how God restores people.
yes, in spite of it all, it's
Mhm.
the perfect title.
Yes, yes,
In spite of all 20 of you, 24 of you went through, you don't look like it.
right, right.
We're here to tell the story. So that's a beautiful thing. We've got another guest in the room. Her name is Tierra Stewart.
Tierra, and she's actually one of the co-authors in the book. Her story was one of the stories that really touched me because she lost a child.
Mm,
She had to have a funeral for her baby girl, and you know, it took me to a place where I was like, I don't know, you know, I don't know if I would have been a sane person
right,
after that.
right. Wow. Thank you so much, Tierra, for sharing your testimony in this amazing book. And as you all can see, I keep holding it up because I have my own copy.
Yes.
I believe
Yes,
I purchased this during the pre-sales.
you did. You
Yeah,
did.
so I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yes.
Yes, and for those of you who are listening to Speak Up Sis Talk Radio, or maybe you're watching and you would like to know how you can grab a copy of this, in spite of it all, it's actually listed on the brand spanking new source for Christian books, the Speak Up Sis bookshelf. And I will make sure I put a link up. You all can grab it there. And Erica, I believe you are offering a 10% off on this particular book for those who shop through the bookshelf. Is that correct?
That is correct. If you go to the Speak Up Sis bookshelf, you want to get 10% off of the purchase price. And that's the only place you'll be able to get that 10% off. So you definitely want to go to the bookshelf and get that book. And another great thing about it, purchasing it from her, is that I send it to you personally, so I get to autograph it for you.
Mm,
If you purchase it anywhere else, you won't get that autographed copy. So you
guys,
want to go to Speak Up Sis bookshelf and order that book.
that's what's up. And the code is on the bookshelf page. So if you go to speakupsis.com/bookshelf, you will see the code that you will use during checkout in order to get that discount. So that's what's up. That's what's up.
Yes.
So, do you have any words of encouragement for either new authors or just people who are learning to open up their mouths and
Mm.
speak up? Because you know what it is. This particular platform is all about triumphing the enemy
Mhm.
and his old funky tactics,
Mhm.
guilt,
Yes.
shame, self-condemnation, overcoming him by the blood of the lamb
Mhm.
and the word of our testimony. And but it's difficult for people to get to that part. So do you have any words of encouragement for people who want to be authors, want to share their stories, but maybe they haven't gotten to that part where they're ready to
Ready.
share the word of their testimony?
Yeah, I would definitely say our story is really not for us initially. What we're supposed to get out of it is for us. But once God has really worked on us, your responsibility becomes to share that story with other people, to help them through whatever they're going through. And the glory to God, because what he did for you, he can do for somebody else. But how would they know that if you keep it to yourself? If you keep the story to yourself, if you keep the glory to yourself, how would they know? How would they be led to God if not through you? Because each and every one of us has a story to tell, and we also have a responsibility to the people that we are assigned to.
Mhm.
A lot of us don't believe that we have an assignment, that we are assigned to people, but we are. God assigns us people to attach to our story and attach to our testimony, because I had to learn that, like, things, once you get stuck in that condemnation where you think everything that happened to you, and you get stuck in that pity party and woe is me and why me, Lord, why me? Once he reveals to you the reason why you, and that I did it for the glorification of my kingdom, I did it to show other people that, through you, redemption and grace and mercy is present in the world. And we have to take ownership of that, and show other people, God did it for me. I'm not a special person. I'm no better than you.
Yeah.
Look at all the things I've done, and he still considered me precious. and he still considered me a part of his kingdom, and he still wanted to use me to bring his message. So don't never get inside of yourself and thinking that what I've done is too bad, it's too dirty. Nobody wants to hear my story. That's the enemy. That's the enemy speaking to you. That's the enemy trying to trick you out of your purpose, and that's the enemy trying to keep us silent. You know, I spent so many years being silent,
Mm.
and things just kept getting worse and worse
Mm.
because I was putting on the face, but all the things that were inside of me were all torn up and all raggedy, and I couldn't get no help. Like God says, I can't bless the fake you. I
Mhm.
can't bless the makeup. I can't bless the hair. I can't bless the fake smiles. I can't bless none of that. And I can't bless other people through that, because if they see a sense of perfection in you, they're not going to connect to that. I was just telling the ladies earlier, you inspire more people through your imperfections
Yes.
than you do fake imperfection.
Oh,
Because if I see you,
good.
if
Say
I
that
see
again. You
you
gotta repeat that. You gotta repeat that part.
You inspire more people through your imperfections than fake imperfection.
Mm.
And I used to feel that way in churches. Like if I go to a church and the pastor was saved from the moment he was born, I can't get nothing from him, because I know I done made mistakes. I know I mess up on the daily. So if the pastor preaching to me that you got to be born perfect, I can't get nothing out of this church. I got to go find a church where the pastor done messed up and still got grace and mercy.
Yes.
Well, yeah, tell that story. No matter how ugly you think it is, tell that story. But also remember to end that story with, but God,
But God.
but God.
But God. Yes. Yes. Oh, girl. I think that's some really great advice to have.
Yeah.
We've got another guest in the room tonight. How you doing? James
Hey,
Lam-
James.
James Lampkin is the host of Conversations with Lamp. Um,
Oh, lamp.
yes, Conversations with Lamp, and he's got his own set of testimonies to share. So you all make sure that when you have some time, you check out Conversations with Lamp. I actually just shared a conversation he and I had on Speak Up Sis podcast about he and his wife's voices of triumph with their baby girl being
Yeah.
born as a premature baby at about 6 months. So
Yeah.
she definitely doesn't look like it. She looks like she's as tall as her dad. And it looks like she's doing extremely well. So Speak Up Sis Talk Radio, our authors are not just women. God is not a respecter of persons. He does not just focus on women's issues and women's stories, nor does he only focus on men and issues men have. Therefore, Speak Up Sis Talk Radio welcomes both women and men authors who are sharing the word of their testimony through their written work. So, James, we appreciate you for coming into the space and and saying hello. Yeah, he says he's not an author yet, but he's on his way. We're just speaking those things that be not as though they were.
As though they were. You coming? You coming? I know you're gonna drop one soon.
Yes, 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 yes. So, before we get out of here today, if you will, please share with everyone how they can connect with you, your social media handles, website, all that good stuff.
All right. So if you want to connect with me on Facebook, you'll just type in Erica Warren and I will pop up. On Instagram, my Instagram page is dope discussions _ pod. That is My podcast is called Dope Discussions with Erica. You can catch us every Sunday at 6:30 Central Standard Time. If you want to get a copy of the book, it's on the screen, speakupsis.com/bookshelf. Go get that copy and get that 10% discount and get that autograph copy.
All right. So I'm going to let that scroll for a second so you all can check it out. That's Facebook at Erica Warren, IG Dope Discussions _pod. Is that right?
That is right.
All right, bam. So you all make sure that you find her on social media, Facebook and Instagram, and please follow her platform. She is amazing. You can believe
if you want to,
it because I said so.
if you want some daily inspiration, if you want some Bible verses to go along with it, and if you want some common sense in your face inspiration without a lot of sugarcoating, come on over.
Come on over. Come on. No, I'm not going to start. Oh, goodness. And so with that, everyone, we thank you so much for joining us for Speak Up Sis Talk Radio. Erica, I appreciate you for returning to the space to talk just a little bit more about In Spite of It All. And don't forget, everybody, you all can grab a copy of the book at speakupsis.com/bookshelf. And don't forget to use that 10% off discount. All right. So until next time, you all be blessed. Bye.
Good night, y'all.